All right, here are our next unit, and this unit is going to focus on people's actions and how they affect other people. Okay, we kind of know that by when we do things at recess, it's kind of hurtful. Okay, but there can be benefits too. So, for instance, in this picture, mom's actions. How are those actions affecting those two children? Yeah, her actions are keeping them safe. Here they look like they're having fun, they're smiling. This is a group that's gathered together, probably, I don't know, senators or somebody. Maybe it's a rally of some sort. Maybe there's a politician there getting ready to speak, something like that. And then over here, we see some people voting. Okay, so all of those actions can affect those around them. All right, so first of all, we're going to talk about this for a minute. Is it helpful or is it hurtful? Are your actions helpful or hurtful? I take things that aren't mine. Is that helpful or hurtful? Yeah, hurtful. I cross at the crosswalk. Helpful, because then people can watch where you're going and know that you're walking across the road. I litter. You should throw your trash down. Hurtful. I collect food for the homeless. Helpful. I recycle. Oh, Mrs. Isham would be so proud that you're helpful. I push people in line. Hurtful. The helpful things are things that God wants you to do. These hurtful things? No, He doesn't want you to do that. So think about that. Let's look at our book on page 90. Okay? On page 90, we have Citizens and Government. This is Unit 4. In Lesson 1, we're going to talk about becoming citizens. In Lesson 2, we're going to talk about rights and responsibilities. Lesson 3, we're going to talk about contributions of a special American. Over here, we're going to talk about forms of government. And then the last lesson is American symbols. And you kind of already know some of those symbols. The Statue of Liberty, American Eagle, things like that. All right. So, let's go. Oops. Let's move on to our next page. Let's look at page 92 here, okay? So on page 92, we see this young man. Okay? Author's purpose. Boys and girls, we've talked about author's purpose numerous times. I especially know that my reading groups, we've talked about it a whole bunch, even in reading. But let's review a little bit here. An author is a person who writes stories and other texts. Authors have a purpose for writing. The purpose may be to answer, explain, or describe something. When you read, it is important to think about the author's purpose and the reasons that support it. This will help you focus on what you should understand about the text. So, to find the author's purpose and the reasons that support it, we first have to read a text. Okay, you have to read it. And then you have to decide what the author wants to describe, explain, or answer. What's the author trying to tell you? And then you might need to read the text again to figure out what supports that purpose. Okay? So I'm going to read this to you. My name is Carlos. I am moving to America. My parents chose to move for better jobs. We will be able to buy a house. My parents hope to make a better life for our family in America. So what is Carlos trying to tell you? Well, Carlos is trying to tell you that he's moving. What are some sentences that help support the fact that he's telling us about moving? Well, one sentence says, his parents chose to move for better jobs. Moving, move. Perfect. The other sentence that supports his reason is, his parents hope to make a better life for our family in America. Those are two reasons that Carlos gives for moving to America. So those support his purpose. Why is he writing? What's he trying to tell you? Okay. On page 92 or 93 here, we see a Statue of Liberty, and you have the author's purpose, and then you have 3 reasons. Okay? This is the text you're going to read. All right. It says circle what the author wants to describe. Underline the reasons that support the author, what the author wants to describe. So let's read this. Dear Manuel, I saw the Statue of Liberty today. It is in New York City. The statue is 305 feet tall. Did you know the Statue of Liberty welcomes people to America? Your friend Carlos. So, what is Carlos trying to tell you? Well, he is describing what he saw. What did he see? I saw the Statue of Liberty today, right? I saw the Statue of Liberty today. What supports this? Well, the statue is 305 feet tall. It is in New York City. Oops. And Statue of Liberty welcomes people to America. Those things I underlined, are they all talking about the Statue of Liberty? Yes, sirree. So, he is trying to tell his friend, Manuel, about the Statue of Liberty. That's his reason for writing. Okay? So when we read a text of any kind, whether it be science, social studies, reading, it doesn't matter. You should read it and think about what the author's trying to tell you. All right. Oops. So, moving on. Here we go. So, when we learn about an author's purpose, people who write books are authors. There's always a reason that an author is writing, okay? Everything has a reason to be written, okay? Authors don't just sit down and write just because. They have something they're trying to tell you. You write a grocery list. You're an author of a grocery list. Why are you writing a grocery list? To help you remember what you need. There's a purpose. Okay? You write a to-do list. What do I need to do today? I need to get dog food. I need to play in a game. I need to pick up trash. I need to help Mrs. Trent. Okay? You write a list. You're an author of the list. It's a to-do list. The purpose is to remind you to do things. Here, this book's on the Declaration of Independence. What is the reason an author would write about an event long ago? What is the reason that someone would write about this? To give us information, right? To share history. When you discover the reason an author has for writing, you have identified the author's purpose. Authors write for different reasons. Authors can write to inform, so they're going to give you information about something. They might write to entertain you, to make you laugh, okay? They might write to persuade you, to say, hey, you really shouldn't do this, or hey, you really should do this. Okay? So, an author can write to inform the reader. This means the author is teaching you about a subject. If you're entertaining, the author can write to entertain the reader. This means the writing is fun to read. Okay, so for instance, an author might write about seeing a circus. And again, the persuasion that I was talking about means the author is trying to convince you to agree with them. Okay, so you might think about recycling. Mrs. Isham always comes in here during art and she's always telling you, recycle, recycle, paper recycle, right? She's trying to convince you or persuade you to do something. All right? So keep that in mind when you are reading. I'm skipping the foldable here. Trying. Okay. And we're going to stop there. And when we pick up again, we will be on the next page in our book, which will skip all the foldables and things like that. And I believe it'll be page 97.